Hello, I'm Timothy Lee, Vice President of Legal and Public Affairs at the Center for Individual Freedom. Today, one of the greatest threats to individual freedom and the nation's well-being is the modern labor movement. Now, just to be clear, we're not talking about actual union members who are hardworking, honest people who are a pillar of the economy in American life. We're referring instead to high-powered labor union executives who put their own short-term interests above those of their rank-and-file members, not to mention the American people generally. Here's a perfect example. While workers across America suffer, union leaders are opting to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this fall's political campaigns. This week, the SEIU and AFL-CIO announced a joint effort to spend approximately $100 million on this November's midterm elections. Separately, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Union announced plans to spend $50 million on this election cycle. So let's put that in perspective. That's $150 million that could make 150 of their individual members instant millionaires. Or if they preferred to spread the wealth around, they could give $10,000 to 15,000 suffering union members. Or they could give 150,000 members $1,000 apiece. So how do you think union members might vote if asked whether they preferred to see $1,000 sent to their savings accounts during this economic downturn or the campaign coffers of spendthrift politicians? But what's the point of all that political spending anyway? Almost all of it will go to liberal candidates who have controlled Congress for 4 years now. During that time, they've failed to pass big labor's #1 agenda item, card check legislation that would end the Democratic secret ballot during union elections. Now, Republicans are poised to make enormous gains and maybe even gain congressional majorities. So the likelihood of card check or other big labor goals, like new stimulus spending packages, is almost zero. In light of that, the last thing that union executives should be doing right now is pouring their members' hard-earned dollars down the drain when they could be spent on workers' actual well-being. It just proves once again that union leaders are out of touch with their everyday members. But it's not just the freedom of union members that big labor leaders are threatening in pursuit of their partisan agenda. They're now pushing federal legislation to dump underfunded union pension plans onto American taxpayers. In other words, union leaders want a taxpayer bailout. For decades now, union leaders have been spending too many dollars on such things as political campaigns and unsustainable pay and benefit packages instead of adequately funding retiree pension obligations they've made. Today, the consequences are beginning to hit as pension obligations climb and available funds dwindle. Union leaders' solution is to dump those pension obligations on the American public so that they can continue to fight declining union membership with promises of unsustainable pay and benefits to potential members. Meanwhile, taxpayers will be on the hook. None of this is good for freedom, it's not good for workers, and it's not good for America. That's this week's Freedom Minute.